My name is Andres from Test Tools and Infrastructure team, and today I would like to give you a very quick demo of an orchestrator tool we've been working on lately. So this is a tool called CNG that's currently implemented in our internal gems in the repository, our main repository, GitLab. And this is a CLI tool that is meant to help quickly create a cloud native GitLab deployment both locally or on CI. So you can execute it through the bundle exec command, since it's not yet published as an external gem, but it's fairly easy to still use it through the bundle exec. So here you can see the main help menu, which lists the basic commands that we currently have, and the main command we are interested in this demo is the create command. So let's quickly execute the basic deployment creation. So what this command do is create cloud native deployment of GitLab using the official Helm chart and using local Kubernetes cluster that's set up using a tool called Kind, which creates a cluster using the Docker containers. So now we can see the deployment is running. It will first by default create a cluster for the deployment and then perform the deployment itself and all the custom supplementary pre-deployment and post-deployment setup. So while the deployment is running, let me tell you a little bit about the reasons for creating this tool. So one of the main reasons is to have a tool that allows us to easily set up a cloud native deployment locally and on CI and run end-to-end tests against it. So we would have a capability of also testing our cloud native deployment and Helm chart basically. Currently we don't exactly do that. Most of our tests, especially the tests that run in merge requests, are based on omnibus installation. Another reason for this is the potential for reducing the CI runtimes, because cloud native deployment is a set of separate Docker builds, so it should have more capability of and more places to improve and reduce the build times than something like omnibus is, which is a more specific one single package that has to contain everything. With the CNG we should be able to only rebuild stuff that is affected by MRs and not spend extra time building one package that has everything. Another reason is simplicity and ease of use. Our current orchestrator that uses omnibus images has several goals that it needs to fulfill, mainly also running the tests themselves. This tool would be only responsible for deploying the environment, so it allows to make the infrastructure and the code of the tool much easier, and also fill the case where someone just needs a quick way to set up environment. It's a little bit harder to do with the GitLab QA orchestrator, just because it's meant to also run tests. And another issue with the current architecture of GitLab QA orchestrator is that because it is meant to also run tests, it creates an environment in an isolated Docker network. So it's a lot harder to use it for local development when you, for example, need to create end-to-end tests that you want to run from your local host towards such an environment. And also the focus for CNG orchestrator is to create documentation within the CLI itself and document as many of the commands and arguments in the CLI itself, so that a user doesn't have to go and read external readmes and documentations to understand what arguments can be provided and etc. So we can see that the deployment now has finished, and we have a link that exposes our running instance of GitLab. Now it is running a post-deployment setup. In this case, it creates an admin user personal access token, which is quite useful for running and developing end-to-end tests. And as I mentioned, all commands have their own help. So for example, to see how the command that we executed right now works and what arguments it can take and what are the default values, etc., you can do that without going to any external documentation places. And yes, and if we take this URL, we can simply open it in our web browser, and we have a running instance of GitLab. And for example, if you haven't provided any of the password arguments, you could basically take the default password and log in with the root user, and that's it. You have a running instance of GitLab with a functional user, and you can easily develop tests or check whatever you may need to check. So this is about it regarding this new tool. It's still not finished. There's some commands like cleanup is still missing, as well as some commands that would help retrieve logs. So it's a work in progress, but we aim to have the first basically fully functional version with the basic deployment configuration that I showed now completed during the milestone 17.1. So if you have any questions about the tool, you can reach out for the test platform team. And yes, that's about it. Thanks.